Good morning, my wonderful third and fourth graders. I told you that we would be looking at legends and myths around the world. And so we've talked about some Greek myths, we've talked about some Italian or Roman myths. The next myth is going to actually come from Great Britain, from England in particular. So this is a map of Great Britain. And down here, this is France, and this is Germany and the Netherlands. And Italy would have been down here, down further south, and then Greece would have been down here. So we're still in the European region, but this is Great Britain right here. And this legend actually comes from North Yorkshire in northern England. And you can see over here, here's Ireland and Scotland. So you can kind of see where we're at in the world. Now, this particular myth is about a dragon. And back in the days before people understood what dinosaurs were, it is believed that a lot of people who would find dinosaur bones actually thought of them as dragons because of course they looked like huge lizards and they didn't have any explanation as to what a dinosaur was. And so the myths of knights fighting dragons is probably based upon the fact that they found the dinosaur bones and had to have some kind of a explanation for why there be these great big lizard bones, apparently, why they'd be all around and that they would have these crazy stories about knights. So this is actually a song, and this is about the Lambton worm. And it really turns out to be not a worm, it turns out to be a dragon. But this was actually a song that was sung for many centuries in northern England. And so we're going to take a look at the child version of this. There's a grown-up version of this, but the children's version. So this is called the Lambton worm. Hush now, shut your mouths, I'll tell you an awful story. Hush now, quiet please, I'll tell you about the worm. One morning, John Lambton went fishing in the river Ware. He caught something upon his hook and gave a little cheer. For what sort of fish or worm it was, young Lambton could not tell. He couldn't be bothered to carry it home, so he threw it down a whale. Now, Lambton thought he would like to be a soldier and fight in wars. He joined a group of knights so tough they didn't mind wounds or scars. They traveled far and had adventures, lots of stories he could tell. Very soon he forgot about the strange thing in the well. But the worm got fat and grew and grew and grew an awful size. It had great big teeth, a great big mouth, and great big googly eyes. And when at night it crawled about, having a little browse, if it felt thirsty on the way, it milked a dozen cows. This scary worm would often feed on calves and lambs and sheep, and swallow little kids alive when they were fast asleep. And when it had eaten all it could, and it had its fill, it crawled away and wrapped itself 10 times around Penshaw Hill. The news of this awful worm and its strange goings-on soon crossed the seas and got to the ears of brave and bold Sir John. So home he came and caught the beast and cut it into halves, and that soon stopped its eating kids and sheep and lambs and calves. So now you know how everyone on both sides of the Ware lost lots of sheep and lots of sleep and lived in mortal fear. So let's say thanks to brave Sir John who kept the kids from harm, saved our cows and calves by making halves of the famous Lambton worm. So when it says right here on both sides of the Ware, it's actually talking about the river Ware. So this was the name of the river. And so the Lambton worm or dragon would eat the cows and the sheep and the lambs and even some little kids who were probably kind of naughty on both sides of the river, and Sir John was the hero of the story. Kind of a fun legend about probably some of these bones that they had found. It was probably a lot of times these legends and myths were created to tell stories to kids to get them to behave sometimes. So I'm sure you guys can understand that. I hope that you guys are enjoying these myths and legends. Remember to do your reading bingo. You can mark one every day. If by chance you get it done, I'm going to be sending out a new bingo card on Monday. You don't have to do it if you still have some more to do on your old bingo card. But for those of us who have finished our bingo card on Monday, I'm going to send a new one out for the last week of school. Believe it or not, we only just have 7 days left, and it will be the end of school. I will get back with you guys. We will be doing Zoom meetings probably next week with all the classes. So have a great day. Enjoy this nice cool weather and go out and have some fun.